Hello, you are welcome to OMC. My name is Ojugo Michelle Chukwudozie, and today we'll look at one of the topics. This is the fourth video in our emotional health series. We'll look at how to handle wounded emotions. Finally, we are at how to handle wounded emotions. I find myself that in the last video we talked about emotional health. So I find myself at that point where I discovered I'm carrying wounds in my heart. I'm wounded. How do I resolve the issue? Okay, emotions are very powerful in a love relationship, and we are wounded mostly by people we have a relationship with. It's those that are closest to us that can inflict on us the most deadly type of wound. And emotional wounds exist across all type of human relationship, whether it is family, between siblings, between father and children, mother and children, between husband and wife. So this particular one of how to handle wounded emotions is not just about marriage. It's not about marriage, or it's not peculiar to a particular type of relationship. It cuts across all. It even exists in colleagues. It exists in life. And let me tell you the truth, offenses must surely come. I'm not going to teach you how to avoid ever being wounded in your emotions, because definitely people will offend you. Definitely you'll be wounded. But we are going to look at how do I handle wounded emotions? How do I handle when issues, especially people that I trusted the most, disappoints me? Those disappointments, those betrayals, those distrust, people that you look up to, people that you expected so much from, and those expectations are not being met. We will narrow it down in this video to the marriage. Remember, emotional wounds can occur across different relationship platforms, but we'll narrow it down to marriage. Okay, the dangerous thing about emotional wounds is that emotional wound can cause you to be sick and even lead to death, and you will not know that is what is causing it. I read something, I said emotional wounds can limit you from maximizing the best of your life, maximizing the best of your experience. So you spend your whole life underachieving because you are under the weight of emotional wounds. And the most common of it all is the wound of rejection. The wound of rejection, the emotional wound of rejection. So how do I handle emotional wounds? There's something I wrote here, how not to get wounded. I'm not contradicting myself. It's like trying to do taking preventive measures. It doesn't mean that being careful, it doesn't mean that accidents may not happen, but just be careful. It will not stop it from happening, but you're trying to create a safe zone where it will limit the tendencies to be wounded. Do you understand? So I will not just be wounded front, left, back, center, everywhere. You limit the tendencies to be hurt, the tendencies to be wounded. The solution is not to recall in yourself. The solution is not to expect less of people. The solution is not to run away from relationships. No, the number one way on how not to get wounded is God discovery. God discovery. He is the lover of your soul. Nobody can love you the way he does. And nobody can be confident of their love for you the way he is. So number one is God discovery. Value him above all other relationships. Find yourself in him. Find expression in him. Be whole in God. I can't imagine what life would have been like if I didn't know Jesus, or if Jesus didn't die for me, and he died for you too. So find your expression in God. Number two way on how not to be wounded is character development. Try to cut off, there are some character traits that makes it make you more susceptible to wounds, emotional wounds. Character traits like unforgiveness, like harsh, like rudeness. You are rude. What you give is what you get back. Character traits like suspicion. You are suspicious of everything. You will be hurt. Get character development. Be whole. Build yourself. Build your esteem. Build yourself. Invest in yourself. The third point on how not to be wounded emotionally is association. Association. You know that if I keep going back to this, it keeps hurting me. So why do you keep going back there? Okay, now in the marriage covenant, you are married, and you know that there are some particular topics that if you bring out, it usually leads to hurt. Why do you keep wanting to bring out the topic? It's, no, we must settle it. Oh, no, we must trash it out. Oh, okay, you are ready to be hurt again. Association. Who do you surround yourself with? Who are the people closest to you? Number 4 way on how to avoid emotional wounds, on how to not be wounded, is learn to make excuses for people. For me, this was a major way to limit the number of emotional wounds. I started making excuses for people. Oh, it could be possible that this happened, that's why. Oh, it could be, I said, especially my husband, I started making excuses for him. In fact, I can remember at one point I told him, is it every time somebody will be making excuses for you? But it helped me. It limited that number of hurts. Learn to make excuses. Learn to see the positive sides. Learn to just think, okay, it could have been. Okay, it's possible that. Make excuses and let it go. It's not every little thing you must discuss, you must analyze, you must learn to make excuses for people. Another way not to be hurt is set boundaries. In the marriage covenant, I'm not saying set boundaries. You say, there are some places my husband will not cross. No, you set boundaries in your emotion. There are some emotional venting. There are some degree of emotional toxicity I will not expose myself to. There are some degree of emotional, you know, that I will set boundaries. This argument is getting overboard. Define the relationship, set boundaries. You say, you walk away from it. You know that this is going to hurt me. Well, I didn't say walk away from your spouse, but find a way to end it. Okay, it's okay. I will do what you want. Then find another time to analyze the problem and make the person see from your point of view. It will help you. Another way not to be wounded is to be deliberate in decision making. Be deliberate in decision making, especially in the marriage covenant. Find out what works for the two of you and be deliberate in making that decision. Be deliberate in your decision making. Okay, so let me now get to, I think the last point is do not have unhealthy expectations. I've always said that. Do not have unhealthy expectation, unrealistic expectation. You will be hurt. You are, if what is guiding you in your marriage is, who will I even use as an example? All this Telemundo, Second Chance. You know that guy in Second Chance in Telemundo. If that is what you are expecting your man to be like, expecting him to have 6-pack and the guy has 1-pack or even have wildlife pack, and you not allow him have peace of mind. Or on TV, you're always seeing that with figure 8, figure curved, you know, and all. And your wife came with figure 8, and childbearing and age and other hormonal changes has made the figure 8 to become 8.5. You will not allow the woman to have peace of mind because you expect the figure 8 to remain. Okay, pay for it. Now there's even a way to bring back the figure 8. So unhealthy, unrealistic expectation. That doesn't mean that you should not lose yourself and not be Ajabara. I'm sorry, I was saying Ajabara. You just be like, no, that doesn't mean you should just lose yourself. No, there's a way to go about it. So how do I handle wounded emotions? I am hurt and I'm wounded. How do I handle it? The number one thing to do when you find out that you are wounded emotionally is to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You couldn't have done anything differently. And I'm talking to someone, you are hurt and you couldn't have done anything differently. You couldn't have prevented it from happening. It's possible that probably if you have made some other wise choices, or if you have bridled your tongue more, or but then don't get yourself to that point where you're beating yourself down. If I had known, if I had, even if it's not even if it's other relationships, not even your spouse, if you've been raped, you've been abused, you've been violated, you've been downtrodden, you've been rejected, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Give yourself that, okay, it has happened. So what's the way forward? Get to that point. That's the number one way to be healed. Don't be saying, is it not because the more you keep saying that, the more you are fortifying the thing, the more you are opening the wound. Forgive yourself. Give yourself that gift of forgiveness. If you need to cry about it, cry about it. Forgive yourself. Oh, I've made the mistake. So what's the way forward? Don't keep beating yourself about the past. Forgiving yourself, I mean forget the past. Stop beating yourself about what happened. If I had known, I wouldn't have raised my hand on her. I wouldn't have shouted the way I shouted on him. I wouldn't have used those harsh words. I wouldn't have locked the door against him. I wouldn't have poured him. I wouldn't, okay, now it has happened. What's the way forward? So number one thing, forgive yourself. The second point is forgive the other person. You are wounded emotionally, and of course it's a human being that wounded you. Learn to forgive the other person of the hurts of the offense. Forgive the other person. You may even need to call the person by name. You may even need to call the person on phone. You may even need to go and visit the person and say, I forgive you. I forgive you about this particular issue. Forgive about the person. The next point is seek counsel. Don't hold it in and try to bottle it in, especially if you are hurting. It's the point to seek counsel. Look for counselors. Look for people that will help you, pour it out, help you analyze the wounds, help you apply healing. Seek for counsel. Just like if you are wounded physically, you go to hospital. If you are wounded emotionally, seek for counsel. Okay, the next thing I want you to do on how to handle wounded emotion, stop talking about it. Talk about it when you are seeking for counsel. Okay, talk about it. Say everything you need to say when you're seeking for counsel. But after that, stop talking about it. Stop rehearsing the offense. Because the more you rehearse the offense, the more you fortify its hold over your mind. The more you even remember, the more you even get more angry. The more you even say, Kai, I could have done this, done that. Stop rehearsing the offense. Talk about it and forget it. The next thing I want us to look about is stay healthy. Guard your mind. Surround yourself with the right people and the right environment, and your wounds will be healed. Thank you so much. Don't forget to share the video and write us your questions and your contributions. All of them are being answered. All of them are being responded to. Thank you so much. My name is Ojugomisho Chukwudozie. God bless you.